assignment that we're going on, which I hope all of you will be joining us, is going to be about clearing the seeds and contention of war codes across the globe, global war prevention, restoring unity consciousness, working through the crystalline grid, activating Christ consciousness, bringing the rainbow peace to the Earth's grids, clearing the first shots that were fired at the Civil War, Fort Sumter, global J seal removal, hurricane devastation healing, and not just hurricane, tornadoes, fires, floods. Okay. We know that our brothers and sisters from North and South Carolina have been through the ringer. And so we need to set some protective guardian shields here because this land is getting eroded, corroded, attacked with directed energy weapons. They're going for their rare earth minerals and resources. They're just, and honestly, something that has come to my awareness recently, Noko, and everyone watching, is that well, so strange. All of these places that they're hitting with the directed energy weapons, mass fires, and global geological upheaval is occurring. So interesting that in a lot of these places, there's basically martial law. There's basically military on the ground. I mean, specifically over in Palisades in California, they got tanks, and a lot of these people can't get even back into their homes because there's literally military guarding everything. So, what are they really preparing for here? I mean, are they predicting these cities might be grounds that they're preparing for war? I mean, this did cross my mind earlier today as I was sitting with some of this. Like, what are they foreseeing is going to happen here that they have to have military presence? So interesting, right? And I wouldn't doubt that that's not happening in a lot of the places right now currently up in Asheville, North Carolina. We have to check in with Missy on that one. But I'm sure there may be something similar going on there. Um, Another thing that's significant about this is connected to the crown. I mean, this city was all about our emancipation from the from the UK, from the British. It was a coastal port town trade route, Charlestown, named after King Charles II. Founded in 1670, it was the fourth largest colonial city and the wealthiest. Charleston was the seat of provincial Congress in 1775, and that created the state of South Carolina before the North and the South Carolinas were just the Carolinas. So this is when it separated. And that separation is what led to the Confederate forces that attacked on April 12th, 1861. So when we do this mission in Charleston, it will be on at the actual day of the Civil War. So that's significant. And we know from the grid work missions that we've done that doing things on holidays when they fall on the actual dates of actual things that happened and occurred, so much more powerful, so significant. There's something like the portal passageways open up to receive and send the transmissions. It's like it's ready. It's like it all was being brought to that culmination point. So, yeah, very significant that this mission will be done on that date. Also, Abraham Lincoln was president at the time that all this happened. So this is very connected to Abraham Lincoln. I mean, he's one of the like coolest presidents personally, I thought. He had a lot of stuff going on, but he freed the slaves. So let's go, Abe. You know? He was the man. And he, he was kind of, involved in everything, the contention of the Civil War. This does connect into a lot of the rips and times in the space-time continuum, the fallen systems, the slavery matrices that had to be cleared, the victim victimizer, predator prey, all that. So, yeah, a lot coming up with this. So, let's talk about now maybe some of the places we're going to be going. I'm gonna go to this picture and let's maybe start. So maybe Noko, tell everyone what's the flow of our grid worker missions? Like we kick it off on our first day, usually with opening ceremony. What's your experience been with our opening ceremonies and how everything flows?
Yeah, I love it, and it gets better every time. I feel like as we move forward through each mission, we learn different things. And Indy and I are always collecting codes along the way for our mission work and the best ways to, lead and really show up in that way and hold sacred space for everyone. So yeah, the day one is always starting with a meet and greet and what we call an opening ceremony. And uh, I have to say, the one in Kauai, like that sticks out so strongly to me. The one in Kauai, we really went deep that evening, and my husband was there with me, and he really opened up, and he really went places that I never saw him going as a person, with sharing and getting really vulnerable and doing some real beautiful healing work as someone that hadn't really been on official, gridwork missions or events like this. It was really a beautiful experience to witness. And I know he would also agree with the deep level of healing just from connecting with the group and doing this, what I would call really like a place where we all are unifying the fields, where we all are getting to know each other. Um, I think, we always will do a little bit of itinerary review. So there'll be some admin type of things, logistical things, just to share, get everybody on the same page. But really, it's just making space for us to connect, to get to know each other, maybe have a little appetizers, share some nice healthy snacks and beverages, and yeah, just basically create that opening space for us to, enter into this beautiful sacred mission that we're all going to be on. So it's really kind of exciting too, because it's the energy is very high because everybody is just meeting up for the first time, and we're
Yeah.
all like super stoked to be on the grids together. And there's a lot of hugs if you're into that. There's a lot of even healing work, that if there's places where we already start identifying things that we need to do, potentially before we get to the bigger, mission days, this is a great place for us to be able to, identify those things, communicate those things, and really, be vulnerable in that space as grid workers. As healers, because everybody that comes to us also have their own gifts and things that they do. So it's really just a beautiful, community space for us to, welcome each other in and just love on each other. So yeah, so that's what we'll be doing for our first evening in Charleston. And actually, this one is going to be fun because we're going to have a little like after activities. So that will be exciting. I don't know if you want me to talk about that, but you can certainly talk about that too if you'd like.
Yeah. Um, well, like I said, I think this will be the evening activities will be very significant because we're so close to JCL3. Um, so we're going to be doing a group ceremonial J seal removal on the beach. Um, haven't ever done that before. So that will be really interesting. I've done some J seal removals. I actually did one at the Christ of the Ozarks. That was interesting as well. But this would be really focused on the black hole wormhole system there running off the coast and trying to minimize any sort of deterioration in those parallel gateways within the Atlantean memory fields, all of the degradation on the 33rd parallel ley line, all of the historical energy manipulation, all of this, dark Atlantean priest codes and nanotech and modification and manipulation that they're doing up to Canada and over to Mount Shasta and, you know, destroying, really, I don't know if that's the right word, but um, blocking the ley line transmissions from Mount Shasta through Abilene, Texas, which we've picked up on is definitely another area that is probably very deserving of a boots on the ground gridwork mission. Um, but yeah, just within that seal removal, clearing all of the cataclysm Armageddon codes from the past timelines and just working to restore really that whole Stargate network system there. We have this lovely picture here. You've seen this on my Scribbles maps before, but Charleston to I would say Charleston is, I mean, it's a Stargate. It's connected here through this triangulation vortex to SS2 and then over to SS3, which you may or not be able to see this little seal up in the corner, but you can see this is JCL3, how parallel, this actually is to Charleston. And then you have the cross intersection point here to Bermuda Triangle. So it's really fundamental for us to be able to do like a Lemurian healing and clearing, clearing all the gateways to the inner Earth portals, clearing the Syrian gateways, um, clearing, all the major cities on the East Coast, clearing and dissolving ancient distortions in the DNA template, and and so much more. Negative ET tech abnormalities and um, spyware and looking glass technology and directed energy weapons, whatever it is. Like it all can really we can work on it very powerfully here. And I think we can recalibrate the Earth's magnetic field here as well. I think we have a much more powerful access to it here on the Atlantic coast, because the Bermuda Triangle itself is definitely a magnetic anomaly and it kind of works like the great attractor. Like it's literally, pulling energy into it. So there could be a lot of, trapped souls, trapped civilizations, trapped consciousness, all of that. So I think it will require us to recalibrate the magnetic field, and those are all things we're going to get started on, on the first night, along with the UFO watch as well. We'll have three night vision goggles. Thank you so much, Missy. Missy's going to be providing these night vision goggles for our team, and we'll be able to, get a good look on the skies that night. And there has been a lot of galactic activity in the skies, over on that side from all of the drones that were coming down. Between a lot of these like plasma spheres and rotating orbs that people have been seeing in the sky, a lot of those. Also, just straight spaceships, cone ships coming down and just emerging. A lot of weird cloud formations with random rains, where it doesn't look normal. It looks like something's happening, like there's only rain coming out of like one cloud. Like there's some really strange activity on the Atlantic coast. And I think once we get there and we can look with those night vision goggles, we can really get a sense of what's actually going on over there. I think our minds are going to be really opened up because it's like I feel like we're only seeing so much through the remote viewing, and it's really going to require that boots on the ground lens to really understand why that might be so mysterious over there. So, yeah, decoding a lot of that, and also a lot of our grid worker missions are about decoding, like data collection. We're there to get information and really get that insight so we can really truly speak from that place. We know what's going on over there. Um, and then we have day two, which is I think our biggest grid work day, honestly. And Missy's going to be guiding and leading this, and she has a lot of insight into all of these places, much deeper than I think I could probably take us or do this. So day two, we're going to start off at Fort Sumter. We're actually going to take a ferry ride as a team. That's going to be interesting and fun, right? And then we're going to take a tour of Fort Sumter.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on the beach situation because we went to the beach when we were in Kauai, and there is just something elementally speaking, to be out there at night. I'm really excited for that opportunity together, star bathing, moon bathing, And, being right by the ocean and having those beautiful codes dropping down into all of us, it feels like a great place to kind of activate us all and prepare for day two, which we know is going to be kind of the meat and potatoes, really the what you want to say, the deeper work, right? In regards to the clearings and the historical aspects of things. So I think it's going to be a great way to prepare.
Yeah, definitely. I think it will be really getting us ready for the next big day. Like it all just falls in alignment. We really see we carry, the codes from each day to what we're gonna need. So I think yeah, we're being divinely guided to start on that beach. I mean, there's some codes we got to get there. I think before we can bring it into Charleston itself. But yeah, Fort Sumter, uh, I think the biggest thing that Missy expressed to me about this is that it rides on key fault lines. So the Woodstock fault line and the Ashley River fault line. And I think that's going to be really significant for clearing the war codes, is having access to a fault line. Um, Also, this connects into the obelisks as well. This connects into we'll take a look at the other obelisk, but this is kind of like a looshing, like how it's all connecting here from the obelisk to Fort Sumter itself. So we'll probably need to clear that energy there. And there's also a lot of Mandela effects that are occurring here. So, which is strange, but it's like a little bit, uh, anomalistic, so to speak, but there are a lot of Mandela distortions, shifting timelines, particularly around the city Somerville. There's I think people also get like disorientation, like think that the war timelines are happening again, like hauntings or like revisiting of timelines that are like reoccurring. Um, so yeah, kind of interesting there. Also, yeah, clearing more of the polarization codes. And I think those are the main things. Just really the things that we've struggled over in terms of overall state sovereignty, the larger struggles of overall slavery and human rights, the Union soldiers that fought to preserve the Union while the Confederate soldiers believed that they were defending their homes. There's still a lot of this contention and division energy and survival and sacrificial energy that remains active in the collective consciousness. It may even be good to clear. And I don't know if we can go inside these walls, but if we're allowed to go inside the walls to like clear along the walls, because that could be holding that energy in place there and layering those war codes in. So, yeah, the goal is to return everything back to a pre-war energy state before division and conflict were imposed, honoring the land's indigenous and ancestral stewards like the Edisto Indians and the Gullah Geechee people. Now, the Gullah Geechee people, this is interesting. They're descendants of the enslaved Africans um, that preserved their sacred cultural traditions in South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Now, there's something with these Gullah Geechee people too they have that some of them may have been the original natives of the United States. That I've been getting a lot of things that the Native Americans are actually like Mongolians, that they were actually brought over. There's actually stories to this that are untold and untapped into. But it actually may be the African Americans that are the true natives. Not all of them, but that there are certain ones that were here. And if that's the case, that's really interesting. So I think there's something connected to those sacred cultural traditions that we'll be learning more about. Also, I think that we're going to be calling forth more spirits of history, like the original signers of the Declaration of Independence, such as Philip and Edward Rutledge. These guys aided in clearing a lot of the unresolved energies when it came to the Declaration of Independence and also the Constitution, because not everybody was in agreement when they were like ratifying this. So there's like a lot of like contention still because of that I think we'll be working to clear. Yeah, just redirecting the current war cycles as well in terms of global war that's going on. So I think this place is going to be super pivotal for Gridwork Mission. This is St. Michael's Church, George Washington's church. This will be one of the places that we go. So we will kind of take a lunch break after we go to Fort Sumter, ride the ferry, and then we'll pick back up and we're going to do a walking tour through downtown Charleston and see all these really special places. This St. Michael's Church, George Washington's church, this one is really connected to like how we said this ley line goes to Canada, goes over to Mount Shasta. From Canada, it's really connected to the Michael and Mary ley lines. So it's going to be clearing a lot of that energy through Canada, England, even as well, the Hieros Gamos over to England. I think United Kingdom's history clearly very connected to this church. I mean, it was the first church, basically. This was George Washington's church. I mean, wow, right? I mean, that's pretty powerful. Um, it was originally an Episcopal church in America, tied to the religious structures brought over from England. So yeah, a lot of deep history here. So we can correct distortions within patriarchal leadership, restoring hierogamic unions, balancing divine masculine energy, divine feminine energy. So I think this will be a pretty significant place. I'm excited to explore this one. Next, we have Washington Square, the obelisk. That's a picture of Missy, actually. She went there and took some pictures. This is connected to the first Battle of Manassas, the Bull Run. And the Battle of Manassas is very important. Have you heard of the Battle of Manassas? I think it was like the first, that's what the first battle of the Civil War was called. I think that's what it was. This one, well, I feel like we're in a history class right now. This one was, it resulted in a Confederate victory. This marked the beginning of prolonged conflict and deeply embedding war frequencies into the nation's energy grid. So yeah, this obelisk needs a massive clearing. Wow, can you feel that? Whew, yeah, portal just opened up. Um, yeah, so as we know, this may be a key obelisk to the entire global obelisk system all over the world. I mean, this ties into the obelisk system in the UK and Rome, into the ancient Egyptian pharaonic obelisks, which is where most of them actually came from. This whole geometry and architecture ultimately came from. So, I mean, we can really access, I think, some untapped time portal fields for clearing deeper levels of the planet's Akashic records. And yeah, just to liberate those trapped energies, realign these historical narratives with divine balance. Super important. We bring in this peace.
Yeah, Indy, I'm just thinking about DC obelisk clearing and like the weather. Like when we went out there, there was something so fierce working with us. Like it was like, I
Totally.
mean, it was like a whirlwind like came in and we really had to work on that space. So these obelisks, I do believe, are key in some of these boots on the ground missions. I'm so glad we're going to get to work on this one.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that in because that was wild as we started doing that, how the wind just was ripping through us. Yeah. It's a lot to have to correct them because when they're functioning in a reversal patterning, we basically have to position our bodies and then reset the code by like training the energy almost. Yeah, that feels like that's what we're doing. We're like correcting the reversal patterning. Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, and I'm being guided. I have a tool that I had with me that day in DC, so I will be bringing that tool with me for this obelisk. I just received that download as we're on, so that's exciting.
Well, and what is this writing here on it? I'm wondering what that is. Missy might know. She's in the comments right now. Missy says prehistoric shark's teeth and mastodon bones wash up on Edisto Beach. Hmm, interesting. Well, it's not like maybe surprising that they would wash up there. I mean, it's really the whole Atlantic Ocean there. Yeah. I don't know what to say what the sharks mean, essentially. It's interesting when I had a dream when we were in Arkansas. One of the nights we were there that I came out of the ocean riding a shark. Like I was on the shark and I rode it like I was standing on it, like I was surfed it out onto the sand and then just got off this great white shark and then woke up. And I was like, what did that mean? It felt very significant. Yeah.
Well, and teeth, that she brought in the teeth, that is like, the strong connection to our ancestors. And so I'm just feeling something there with even the ancestral lineage of the marine life coming forward to work with us here on these grids. That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should work with the prehistoric sharks and the mastodon bones.
Mm,
Yeah. Like as spirit guides. Interesting.
mm.
Hmm. Okay, one of the other places we'll be going is the Blind Tiger Speakeasy. So, I mean, I guess this place is kind of where a lot of this darker stuff kind of kicked off. It's connected during the time of the Prohibition. It's where gambling, I guess, first emerged. There was prostitution, illegal alcohol trade. And because of all of that, there are underground tunnels here because they were used for smuggling all of this stuff and, you know, connected and, brought in these deeper control systems that they had. Like it's where a lot of the stuff was fought over fuel, like when the fuel industry and the power industry and all of that started to get going, like a lot of this came through the Blind Tiger Speakeasy. Because this is where they had, it kind of reminds me of one of those olden day movies where, you see the whorehouse or whatever it's called. It's like I'm wondering, this is kind of like the vibe I'm getting. This is like an old time saloon. I guess they're called a saloon that doubled as a whorehouse type of thing. But yeah, interesting. So here we can clear distortions of underground trafficking, child trafficking. Really, I mean, just when what I see with this is there's actual implants that went into the grids, like that implanted this dark force. Like this is a point of a dark force and like where the takeovers began. Because not only that, you have the first liquor store. I think it is a picture. I don't know if I put a picture of it. This is it. Tavern at Rainbow Row. Yeah, the first liquor store in the United States. And so, yeah, we can clear here. I think we can get a really good clearing on that spirit of alcohol, the alcohol spirit, and just the forms of addiction and possession that it has over our nation, over indigos and starseeds, vulnerable and innocent, that, you know, are dealing with addiction on all levels. I mean, it's not just alcohol, but this is, I mean, really, this plagues our people. I mean, a lot of people have lost their lives to alcohol addiction. So I think this would be a very significant healing and clearing for us to bring through. Okay, let's see. I'll just do a couple more here. Um, there's quite a few pictures, but the slave market. So yeah, I think this will be another very significant clearing that we do, boots on the ground, for so many reasons. This is a key location in the transatlantic slave trade. It's actually, I don't have a picture of the building, but it's an actual market. It's a market route where people were brought to South Carolina to slave for rice, cotton, and indigo production. So this we can work deeply on healing slavery, ancestral trauma, acknowledging that this is a part of all of our history and story, and release a lot of the karmic binds tied to enslavement and economic exploitation. I feel this being very connected to Alabama and Montgomery as well. Um, that's another city that's deeply tied to the slave trade. Um, it's where they had Martin Luther King was there, and they had the bus. I think it was called the bus. Um, Something happened on a bus. Drop it down in the comments if you guys know about Martin Luther King and what happened on the bus. But there was like a whole revolution that came from that. And that was all in Montgomery, Alabama. So yeah, I'm connecting some of these places in here. And slavery was not pretty. I mean, these people, what they endured, like how they were treated, just less than a dog, even. I mean, not even, I mean, people's dogs get treated better than the slaves got treated, so it's really a dark seated depression in our um, shared national history that one that deserves, I think, a lot of clearing and healing work around it, just as much as the Trail of Tears and or even more. Um, that I don't think we've ever really done any ceremonial type work for something like this before. So I think this would be very significant. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm feeling a strong call to just invite anyone, especially that may have that in their ancestral lineage and they know or have heard stories, or, I really feel like it would be beneficial for us to have some people with us, boots on the ground, that are holding some of those keys and codes to really assist in, this whole like worldwide clearing. But our bodies are part of this gridwork mission, and so having a few people like that really are have some of those ancestral and DNA connections, I think that would be super beneficial. So please, if you're hearing this call, check out the link. Let's get you on the
Well,
team.
yeah, right. Get on the team. Link down in the description. Well, I think you're absolutely right. Like, especially, and here's one way, like you might want to check your Akashic records because I think people who innately come in feeling deeply loss of self-value, loss of self-worth, loss of ability to feel like they can participate in society or even with their dreams or pursuing their dreams. Like there's just this constant I'm unworthiness that comes in, like I cannot reach for the stars. And a lot of that comes from past lives of slavery, like being a slave in some way. So yeah, releasing, and that's a persecution and crucifixion wounding all the way to the seat of the soul. So, whew, yeah, I see us really being able to pour a lot of nurturing love and light into this. I almost see it as a black hole. Like it's still something that's just, and this may be really what's tied into that Bermuda Triangle, like what's still pulling on those chains. Oh my gosh, right? Pulling the slavery chains and blocking people. Why wouldn't that duality and that irony be playing out here? Because it's like the land of the free. Of course, the double-faced coin, right? And where the actual hooks would be siphoning. So interesting. Super interesting. Yeah, we're decoding this as we go. So I think, yeah, my heart really goes out to this place here and the need for this. And then I think the other thing that was going to be very important to the mission was Provost Dungeon. This is constitutional history. This is where the site where the critical debates before the Constitution was ratified were done. This is like basically where they decided what the Constitution was going to be. That's pretty profound. Yeah, they did it in a dungeon. Who knew that? But this was okay, so they were holding this site for the Sons of Liberty. And the Sons of Liberty were the ones that basically rallied to fight the American Revolution. They're the ones that I think pretty much emancipated us from Britain. It was also a storage facility for gunpowder. And they also talk about Blackbeard the pirate um, frequenting this place as well. So interesting, right? There's like a whole pirate history here that I've yet to really decode. I don't know about you, Noko, but that's something that I would love to learn more about.
Well, and I mean, that's just bringing me right into that duality of, here these people were coming here to find freedom, and meanwhile they were pirating in some ways this land. And so there is this interesting kind of juxtaposition of, you know, searching for freedom, meanwhile, taking freedom from others. It's really a space that needs to be
Mm.
restored back to its organic template. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to having a part in that. It feels strongly like in my heart.
Yeah, definitely. It's like everything has come through some form of like having the upper hand or the lesser hand, victim victimizer. I think yeah, this would be a good place to work on that.
Mhm.
More
And
of the
even the
polarity
dungeon,
codes.
like the dungeon part is very interesting to me. Looking at that space, it's definitely going to be a place that we'll be able to pick up a lot of information and also, do some clearing and some work around that space.
Yeah,
Mm.
you can already feel it, huh?
I'm
An
getting really
interesting
activated.
ceiling. Look at this
Mhm.
ceiling.
Mm.
And the fact that they did this in a dungeon. Our Constitution was written in a dungeon.
This
I,
is
I
mind
guess there
blowing.
may even be like a moat around this.
Mm.
Interesting, right?
Well, because normally what would be in a dungeon? Slaves, prisoners, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, was it
Well,
all
having
fake?
having to put that Constitution together in a hidden space,
Mm.
highly protected,
Mhm.
secret. Yeah, there was probably a need for it to be done on the low low.
Mhm.
Yeah, could you imagine what they went through to get that together? Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a whole bunch of energy codes I think that we can bring up to the surface.
Mhm.
Well, last but not least, the pineapple fountain. We'll be taking a trip there, probably to do some pictures. I guess this is like a very famous, thing here in South Carolina and Charleston that this pineapple fountain is popular. So, yeah, of course we gotta, swing by it and see what needs to come through here. I don't know what to say. It's a pineapple, Like I like pineapple. I'll eat some pineapple, not too much pineapple. It's kind of acidic, but I mean, I'm not really sure what the deeper meaning is here with the pineapple specifically. I don't think we've decoded it entirely yet. But we'll find out. I think we'll find out as we get closer. Do you know what this pineapple means? Okay.
No, but I just had pineapple t today, so it's kind of interesting that it's coming through. There are some really beautiful healing qualities that come, with the pineapple, but I found it interesting what you shared there about in the itinerary about the upside down pineapple and the swinger community, and you literally said we will swing over there. So I think you're bringing in. I think it has to do with sexuality. I think it has to do with the distortions and the commercialization and this type of space. So yeah, I think we'll obviously decode more of that, but you definitely brought that in with the way that it was even introduced.
Oh wow, I can't believe I said that. That's so
Hmm.
hilarious. Yeah. Well, I guess yeah, the upside down pineapple means swingers. So, um, yeah, we'll need
It's
to
all
clear.
divine. You're like the words you use, they happen for a reason. So, mhm.
Well, we'll definitely need to clear those sexual distortions then. I don't know how I feel about the whole swinger community myself personally, so I'm more, thinking restoring the original purity of sacred union, divine marriages, um, the sacred bridal chambers, all these things. This may clear all the way over to the UK. I think in the UK they hold a lot of the sacred marriage codes. I mean, the King Arthur. I mean, all of that. Guinevere, and that just came in last week. So yeah, I think this might be something deeply connected to this area as well.
And we'll already be working on some of that in some of the other locations, as far as the even just working and with the clearing of the alcohol, the liquor store. And there's just so much that's interconnected, that it just feels like, the way Missy has, brought forward this tour and the flow of it. It feels like it's going to be just what we need. And we know when we're boots on the ground, sometimes things get mixed up. Sometimes something closes on us and we can't do this or we got to shift that way. And it's divine as well. And so that's the beauty of, working with a team that has done this before. We're ready to go with the flow. We're ready to let, divine lead us and have this beautiful experience that it's not really our own plan. We can do all of this, but in the end, it's really, it's really God's plan. It's really going to be in the hands of Great Spirit to help us, really figure out maybe something needs unlocking in a different place before we can go to another spot. So that's always the fun, mysterious part of the boots on the ground work.
Yeah,
Staying
definitely.
open, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was just looking at the comments when he said that, Noko. Gabby Douglas, she says, I'm about to birth our golden child, magic into this realm. I have the child of light, Huna Flash Christ consciousness in my womb. His spirit entered my cosmic dragon egg on 110, 1/10. Oh, well, I was kind of confused because I think she sent me a message saying that she was having Huna Flash's child. Yes, maybe ex like on an etheric level is what you mean, like an energy, a spirit level, like rebirthing the Christed consciousness. Yeah. Well, finally we have day three. So day one's going to be loaded, day two's going to be loaded, and then day three on the Charleston, South Carolina mission. This is where we'll really get to bring it all in as a soul family. We'll be all together on our home base. We'll be access to a fire pit, access to a little creek and river, beautiful space outside for us to come together where we're going to do healing work, yoga work, meditation, body work, cutting cords, 12D body soul integration. We'll be doing our final group meditations and clearings. And then beautiful Noko is going to be basically taking us on a art therapy and sound healing journey as she has done in the past, especially in Hawaii. I mean, that was a really powerful journey that we took using the instruments and um, going to the inner earth. And so I just will be so excited to see what you come up for this one because it's always like completely in alignment to what we need to be doing to kind of wrap that ceremonial space up. And you're so talented with music and art. So it'll be an amazing time for us to I think integrate all the frequency healing of everything that we did together as a group and just integrate the mission and really have that time to celebrate with each other. We're going to be bringing forth a sacred celebration dinner. So that's some of the best part is just like the reward and getting to serve everyone and feed this beautiful meal that's home cooked and also have desserts and like all kinds of stuff. It's fun. It's like it's a little I don't know if you call it a party. It's a celebration. It's a celebration of the mission. And we get to really wrap everything up and towards the end we like to do also a sacred fire and a musical drumming circle to kind of close everything in and honor the prayers and honor the mission coming to completion. So every single day is it's a different thing, a different vibe, a different focus, but it's perfected in a way that we really cultivate every element of the experience. And um, it's very exciting. I love the last day. I think it's part of my, every day is amazing, but the last day, just you really feel us bring it in as a family, and that's really a magical time for us to share with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of where we can get, receive more, right? Like we give, 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 and then that's a day where we can all receive more and really nourish and nurture our bodies in all forms, not just physically, right? And, I love how divinely guided I always am through those, journeys that I bring forward, because a lot of times I think every time it's not really planned. Like I might have a little, outline of an idea to give to Indy so that we have something to, to go by. But what actually comes through is in the moment, and it's always so mind-blowing to me to be a part of that. I'm just honored. And I'm really excited about the art therapy part for this mission because that is something that I haven't really done too much with our mission work. And so there's something there with creation energy with the group. And yeah, it's an inner child work. There's something very beautiful there that's going to happen that I'm super stoked to, be a part of and bring that to y'all. And we just can't wait. We can't wait to, celebrate. It really is because celebration, right, in our country, unfortunately, is pretty upside down, right? It's always like stuff that's bad for you. Well, our form of celebration is, again, that inversion, fixing that inversion and bringing it back into right relation, with how it should be, with, taking care of our bodies, with eating healthy foods and, stretching and moving the body and doing some healing and self-love and, just really bringing in all the things that are good, right? We're not going to be drinking alcohol. We're not going to be polluting the earth and putting balloons up into the sky. We're going to be doing all the things that are just loving on ourselves and loving on the grids and Mother Earth. And yeah, it's always the fun kind of cherry on top, right?
Definitely. It's definitely my favorite time. And I feel like this picture, like even though it's a little uh graphic here and colorful, I love, the rainbow coats running through everyone and just how unified the group field is. And I feel like we really do get to anchor that there on the last day and the oneness that we feel. Yeah, our 12D shields are just fully activated. So it's a beautiful time. I think this will be a beautiful mission. I'm so excited for this. I cannot wait. I can't, you know, believe that it's coming up so quickly. So now is the time to get your ticket. Now is the time to um, sign up right now and register for the mission so we can start getting, that full head count and we can start, you know, getting all the plans together. So please join us in April 2025. Come and do this mission work with us, boots on the ground. Come meet us in person and share this space with us and help us bridge the divide between war and peace and heal the collective Civil War wounding. It's a chance for you to really step into your mission as a grid worker. This is your chance to bring unity, consciousness, and transformation to the planet on a global level. And if you're called to this mission, you're gonna know it. So we love you all so much, and thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for watching this presentation all the way through. And yeah, any last notes for anyone, Noko?
I'm just being guided to bring in the little story of, in Kauai. I ended up meeting another musician, and it was so divinely ordained. Like I sat next to this amazing what did you call him? Christos Avatar. Uh,
Yeah.
we met him on the plane, my husband and I coming into Hawaii, and he ended up joining us. He ended up coming to our final day and performing for us. And I'm getting chills as I share this because this is the type of magic that happens when you go on Gridwork Mission. Like it's not just about the group, dynamic and field and team. Like it's also your individual part and your mission, what you bring in is important. Like each person has different pieces to the puzzle. And so it's just a great example. Like, I never would have expected that we would have had this live, guitarist doing these amazing songs that were right in alignment with everything that we were doing. And it just like blew our hearts open, right at the end, just in such a beautiful way. And so I just want to remind everybody that, you may come out on this mission and find a new bestie. You may come out and, uncover something about your DNA, your ancestry. You might come out and activate a new gift that is going to be your path, that's going to bring you abundance. So there's so many reasons to do this. Not in a selfish way, but in a way to really help, this earth and humanity and part of why we're here. These are our purposes. So yeah, if you're feeling that call, I'm just, asking you to please reach out. If you're having any blockages around coming and joining, just email us. I'll throw the email in the chat. And I know Indy, I'm sure, has it everywhere too, on her pages, but please reach out to us so that we can help you if there's anything we can do to alleviate some of those blockages or provide resources. Indy and I know Missy, we're all a sacred team here that really want to assist. And so just, putting that love from my heart into this space and bringing those codes through for you to know, empower you to take that leap and really check this out because grid work has changed my life for the better in so many ways and my family's life. My whole family has become a grid work family now. And it is next level. And I really do have to give Indy a lot of gratitude around that because she has been my teacher. She has been my main teacher around grid work, and my main inspiration, someone that has really brought forward these codes in my life. And I'm just so thankful, and I can't wait, for more people to experience what I have and be a part. So I just love y'all so much. Thank you, Indy.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it in, sister. Wow. I know, as you're saying that, I'm reflecting through all these special moments with your family and your husband and your son, and definitely at the top of Mount Pinnacle. That was, there's some moments that happened there. Yeah. So, yeah, come with us, come experience this magic. We love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Um, and yeah, keep being amazing. Keep sharing your voice. Keep doing what you do. We love you. And we look forward to seeing you in South Carolina.